Coming up today, Leeds city centre could have a new supertram system as an alternative to the controversial HS2 project. Hard times for some museums in Yorkshire. And find out how to experience nature from indoors at a new exhibition in Armley. Hello, and welcome to today's Yorkshire Voice. I'm Will Ford. Could Leeds get a new supertram system? A report released by Taxpayers Alliance has proposed the tram system as an alternative to the controversial HS2 rail line. The report is backed by East Yorkshire MP David Davis. It would see 6 tram lines installed across Yorkshire and more nationwide. People in Leeds were generally supportive, as people in Yorkshire know the trains are unreliable at best, with commuters affected particularly badly. When we spoke to people in Leeds earlier, they said it could help the city and even boost local economy, with people inclined to travel into the city centre. Earlier, I spoke to Harry Phone of the Taxpayers Alliance and started by asking him about the details of the supertram proposal.
Well, what it's going to mean is better transport for the people of Leeds. Leeds, in terms of its transport infrastructure, is pretty poor, quite frankly. I remember the judges, 2 of them in particular, Lord Bartley and Michael Byng, highlighted this, and the entrance to the competition has recommended the supertram system, as I believe is deployed in Germany to great effect, getting commuters closer to their destination, getting them out of cars as well. You're also reducing air pollution, so it's a complete win-win. And it's a no-brainer. I can't believe the government haven't already started to implement it. But that's the whole point of the report, to highlight these issues.
So why do you think this is a better option than HS2?
Well, the thing about HS2 is, it originally started out, it was going to be sort of around about a £30 billion project. It's now up to 56 billion. There's estimates of 104 billion. The north-south connectivity is already very good in this country. We have West Coast and East Coast main lines. What isn't so good is that connectivity between, the villages, the towns, and the cities, and that's what our report aims to do, is showing about all these little local connectivity, little transport links, be it trains, buses, cars, bikes, whatever, and how we can actually spend this money much better. And we've identified 28 projects that only come to £45.2 billion, so that's £11 billion less than HS2, all with a positive environmental impact, should be said, unlike HS2. Tearing through beautiful countryside, destroying lives. In terms, we've met so many people who have had their lives devastated by HS2. They've lost their homes. They've had for, generations in some cases, and it's quite frankly, it's upsetting to them and to me, and it's disgusting, quite frankly, that this is being made to happen when there are so many better projects, as I say, as we've identified, that could be built instead.
So you've talked about the difference in money between the two projects. Obviously, a lot of money has already been spent on HS2. A lot of taxpayers would see this as a big waste of money. What would you say to those people?
Well, so we worked on the basis that if you cancelled HS2 now, of the 56 billion, that's the government estimate, you would walk away with about 50 billion. So by the time you work out what's already been spent, contract cancellations, that sort of thing, you're losing about 6 billion. 28 projects for less than the cost of HS2. How can that not be a good thing?
There is a big difference in cost, as you already said. Do you somehow see that as being a case there'll be less connectivity compared to HS2 with this new proposed plan, or not?
No, I think there'll be more connectivity. This is one of the great things we've identified. A lot of the lines, the railway lines in the project, were beach enclosures back in the 60s, and now we're finding with the sort of modern world we live in, people need this connectivity opened up again. That's the big thing. All HS2 does really is get you to, from Birmingham to London or Manchester to Birmingham a bit quicker. But what they haven't, and what the government haven't realised is, or maybe they have and they don't want to admit it, is that the big problem with, you still got to get to the railway station where HS2 goes from. And that's what takes the time. And this is why, for example, the Leeds supertram system, that's the great thing. It gives people that better access to, railway hubs. As I say, it's a complete no-brainer. I just don't see why the government are doing it. And they're pushing ahead with this white elephant project, which probably will end up costing £1 billion. You've already got the East Coast and West Coast main lines. East Coast main line is a very quick railway line. You can get from London to York in less than an hour 45. Do you really need to go that little bit quicker from Manchester to London. And already the trains were originally going to go 250 miles an hour. They've now significantly reduced that. I think they're talking about 180, maybe 200 push, but already the speeds are coming down. So I think HS2 is probably going to be scrapped, and that's what we're hoping. And as I say, the money could be spent on these 28 projects we've identified.
Thanks very much for joining us on the show, Harry. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
That was Harry Fohn from the Taxpayers Alliance on the Supertram alternative to HS2. And now for the news in brief. Police are worried for the safety of a missing teenager from Wakefield. Nicole Harris, aged 16, was last seen late Friday night on the Quebec Street in Wakefield. She is described as 5'3" with a burn scar on the side of her nose. She was last seen wearing a green-grey coat pictured. If you have any information on Nicole's whereabouts, please contact the police on 101. Firefighters have confirmed that a woman has died in a house fire in Bradford. The fire broke out last Friday afternoon, but is not believed to be suspicious. The 59-year-old was given emergency first aid, but sadly died. WhatsApp are urging users to update the app after a cyber attack. Hackers used the voice calling function to carry out the attack, putting the app's 1.5 billion users at risk. The company says only a small number of accounts have been affected. Material celebrating the women's liberation movement is currently on display in Leeds. The exhibition at Leeds City Museum is open until the 17th of July. It's currently on display alongside LGBT History Month. It has pieces including clothing, documents and information about the movement. The exhibition is free to attend and is being run by Feminist Archive North.
So as part of the wider LGBT History Month themes programme, we invited the Feminist Archive North, who are located in the Brotherton Library, to showcase some of their items that they've got. I don't think they've had enough kind of coverage and things like that. I think not many people are aware of the archive, and it's an amazing archive.
Meanwhile, young people have been experiencing virtual reality in Armley at a new exhibition at the Interplay Theatre. The exhibition uses VR headsets to bring nature to life, and it's been a big hit with young and old. Our reporter, Anissa Jaffrey, went down to take a look at the exhibition.
Interplay Theatre, located in Armley, held a virtual reality exhibition as part of Leeds International Festival called The Conductor. I went down to learn more about the exhibition and what people made of it.
So the outcome of this particular exhibition has been that a lot of people have seen us working in a new way. A lot of people have got a chance to experience virtual reality in a way that they might not have expected that it does. So a lot of people expect it to be very game and very sort of shooting and that sort of stuff on roller coasters, and our experience is sort of an immerse.
Bradford's Cartwright Hall can be found in the city's 22.5 hectare Lister Park, which was opened up to the public in 1870 after then owner of the estate, wool mogul Samuel Lister, donated it to the city. Now Cartwright Hall makes up a fourth of the museums and galleries run by and funded by Bradford Council. But following a report from the Museums Association this week, the gallery and others in the city could be in jeopardy due to a lack of funding.
We are very lucky that here in Bradford we've got some very significant cultural institutions. It's home to the National Science and Media Museum. We've got fantastic galleries like Bowling Hall, Cartwright Hall, Cliff Castle and the Industrial Museum too. But clearly a lot of these council funded museums are really feeling the pinch at the moment. The result there is things like shorter hours of opening, staff reductions and even in some cases the threat of closure altogether. And that's really not enriching the cultural life of a city like Bradford, which is a very young city, very diverse city, and needs to have a cultural calendar that reflects that.
According to the Museums Association, for every £1 spent by London councils on their museums, only 68 pence is spent by the northern cities. The importance of the museums in the city cannot be emphasised enough.
They're really important in many ways, museums like that. I think on a very obvious platform, they're providing Bradfordians with the history and the knowledge about where they're from and how the city was made. But they also serve to inspire young people as well. It's no secret Bradford's got the youngest population in the UK, one of the youngest in Europe. We should really be investing lots in some of those cultural sectors.
The report from the Museums Association seeks to highlight a growing issue, but whether Bradford Council decide to buck the trend and make the city's galleries and museums sustainable for the future remains to be seen.
That was Harry McMullen on a report from the Museums Association this week that outlined the disparity in the amount of funding the London councils give to their museums, in comparison to the funding given to the museums by the councils in the northern cities. East Whittleston Hall in Keighley are offering a weekly course to encourage chemical-free gardening. Their head gardener hopes this will go some way to helping the environment.
It's to try to encourage people to actually have a go at doing that themselves and feel that they don't have to necessarily go straight to a bottle of spray to start spraying insects and things that they see on the roses. It's about a holistic approach to gardening, so it's about everything from encouraging insects and leaving parts of your garden grass longer. So it's a whole host of things really is greener gardening, but one of the main things is I really do not ever use chemicals.
Well, very different weather there in Keighley than the lovely sunshine we have here today. Over to Abby McClure with the weather.
That's right, well, it's glorious sunshine here in Horsforth and it's been looking lovely across Yorkshire today. Temperatures have been higher than they are in Venice. They've hit highs of 21 degrees. It feels a lot warmer as the sunshine is really strong. Hay fever sufferers, beware, the pollen count is high today. Tonight it's clear and dry. We're clear with dry skies and temperatures could drop to single figures because of this. There could be fog patches in the early morning. But don't fear, tomorrow it's a warm, dry day with light winds and strong sunshine. A bit cloudier in the higher areas of Yorkshire. The pollen count again is high tomorrow with temperatures hitting around 22 degrees. So enjoy the weather while it lasts. We could see some rain across the weekend. That's all. Thanks, Will.
And let's take a look at some of your pictures that you've been sending in. There's been some fantastic weather over the last few days and some even better pictures coming in. We've seen sunsets, blue skies and the sun coming through the trees. We're always happy to see your pictures here in the Trinity newsroom. You can send us your pictures via our Twitter @YorkshireV. The best ones will be featured on tomorrow's programme with others being shown on our Twitter feed. Got a picture? Get in touch. Now we look ahead to this evening's sport and the first of the playoff semi-final second legs. West Bromwich Albion host Aston Villa this evening with the visitors going to the game 2-1 ahead on aggregate, thanks to a quick-fire double by Conor Hourihane and Tammy Abraham on Saturday. The outcome of this evening's game at the Hawthorns will determine who Leeds United could play in the final. They play Derby County at Ellen Road tomorrow evening with Marcelo Bielsa's men currently leading 1-0 on aggregate. More on Leeds' push for the Premier League tomorrow. And in cricket, England are currently in action against Pakistan in the third one-day international. They lead 1-0 in the series with 2 games left to play. Yorkshiremen Joe Root and Johnny Bairstow are in action for the national team, while their county teammates face Kent in the county championship. Well, that's all we've got time for here on Yorkshire Voice. There's more news and sport on our website, www.yorkshire-voice, and follow us on Twitter @YorkshireV. We're back at the same time tomorrow. If you'd like to watch any of the shows from today or yesterday or throughout the week, then you can do so on the Facebook page. As we said before, if you've got any pictures of the fantastic weather or anything you're doing in your communities, then again, feel free to send those in to the Yorkshire Voice website or to our Twitter @Yorkshire Voice. From all of us in the Trinity newsroom here today, thank you very much for watching. I'm Will Ford. Goodbye for now and see you tomorrow.
It's to try to